Oh my gosh. They can hear us. Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome.
Okay, they can hear you. In all of our prep, though, I forgot to turn on VTube Studio, so whoopsie me.
It's okay. Scuff. We love scuff. And we should make a scuff song, honestly. Is there a scuff song out there that somebody knows of? Please send it our way.
Certain there is. Yeah. It's far too much VTuber scuffer there not to be. Okay, I'm here. Hi everybody. Hello. But yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever it is in your part of the world. I am DeusCain, also known as Dan, and I am here with Dan, also known as Dan the Draconian.
Hi Dan, how are you, Dan?
I'm doing great, Dan. How are you? This bit will never get old.
Thanks, Dan. I'm good, Dan. Oh, we've already got. Evie in chat is asking, how are you both doing today? Okay. Well, I think we covered that. We're doing good.
I am doing better than I was a week ago. A week ago, I was first day into COVID symptoms. So now I'm just 7 days into COVID symptoms. Eight days into COVID symptoms, which is on the other side of it. And thank God for that.
Welcome into Blood Summer. Yourself, you're in chat. Strike and Evie and everyone else lurking as well. Hi. Welcome in. 45 shake, Evie. 5 more. 5 more. You know what you're gonna get. Oh my gosh. Okay. So
nice.
We have some gaming news and some layoffs and a lot of other stuff to talk about.
Yes, news and topics and things and stuff.
Things and topics and news and stuff. Yes. I feel like we should have that as like a soundboard thing to play. But where did you want to start?
So I did a bit of an interesting thing this time because I didn't want to just sit on a specific topic, because we can argue like left or right about whether or not a topic has a valid point, but I took most of the topics and I kind of like spun it out into something bigger. Like it's more like as an example here, there was a story a while ago now where somebody was kicking up a bit of a fuss on Twitter because they were raiding into somebody and they weren't getting raids in response, and they didn't get a follow, and it was kind of like this idea of
etiquette,
transactional relationships, raiding etiquette, things like that.
Yes,
and that's kind of where like, because definitely like my idea on hello Foxy Rain, we are both called Dan.
Welcome in, Rain.
Because the idea being like, if I have to make a decision about like just this person, yeah, they're wrong. Like, don't give people Native Comedy, thank you for the subscription. Thank you. So like, if I just had to make a decision about like, are they right or are they wrong, I think they're wrong. I just think that they're wrong with doing that and saying that and treating it that way. But the idea of like talking about transactional relationships in streaming, talking about rating etiquette more generally, and streaming etiquette more generally, it's a broader conversation that's a bit more interesting to get into, rather than just, yeah, no, this person's just wrong. They're wrong and they shouldn't have gone on Twitter to bitch about
they're
how
wrong.
They were.
Conversation
they thought
over.
They were right. Turns out, no, they were just telling everybody how wrong they were.
Yes, exactly. So I think there was something very, very similar that I sent to you with the caption like, I want to discuss this next time. So this was about so my first topic will actually key into yours a bit. It will be about discussing those who are like streamers who are respectful or follow a certain etiquette when they receive a raid. So if we start with yours and then trail into mine, I think that'd be really, really good for us to do.
Yeah, because they're both kind of related to like streaming etiquette and rating etiquette and things like that. And And there's even a bit of a tangential thing here. I don't think I had it in my list, but there was somebody that was talking about like people that would always show up in their streams every day for their daily shout out is what they called it.
Oh,
And then when somebody
okay.
stopped doing that, they're just like, no, you haven't given me my daily shout out in a couple of days. It's like you're not guaranteed for a daily shout out.
Hi Zero, welcome in.
Hello Zero.
They actually meant. Wait. Let me get the context. Did they actually post in chat saying you haven't done the daily shout out for me for some time?
I think that's what I said. I don't have anything like that's one where I didn't grab like the links or anything like that, but it was a topic of conversation I saw. And that's but that does tie into like a bit of transactional relationships in streaming. So there's a lot of differences in how people run their streams. Some people, it is very much a hobby, and it's a lot more relaxed. It's a lot more casual. And then there are people that are doing it professionally, and that can vary because I've seen some professional streamers just be absolute dog shit. Like there was a certain one that was trying to make merch with a design they didn't own, and we will just gently dance around that and just say maybe don't do that. And also there are people at the top end of the spectrum that have some issues, and so just being the professional end of it doesn't make you perfect, but then there are the people that are trying to transition from the casual personal to the professional, and I think that's where we run into a lot more problems because those are people who are working with one set of rules, trying to adapt them to the new set of rules or make their new set of rules for them personally. And there's a lot of trial and error on the best circumstances, and some people that are just
where
not good work. People.
Yeah. Ninja or Comedy, I want to touch on what you've said. So, if for those who can't see Dan's chat, DS's chat, Ninja has said, I don't always give a shout out myself, but I like to support as many users, especially the ones I try to help reach affiliate. Now, I'll also add what they've just said. I know one streamer that specifically shouts out certain users and not many others, even if they've been raided in. So, I do the same thing, as you know. My community knows that usually, if it's, say, like, a just chatting stream like this, if it was just me on my own, I would be doing shoutouts for everyone who comes in, who I know streams. Like, that's what I do, right? But when it comes to, like, if someone asks for a shout out specifically from me, I've never had that before. It hasn't happened to me yet, but I don't know how I would respond to that. I would probably be very hurt, and maybe I'd be like, well, that's a bit on the nose. That's a bit disrespectful to ask. But I don't know how I'd react to that. But in the topic of someone doing it to someone else, I would never see that as something that anyone should ever do. Whether a streamer decides to give it a shout or not to somebody or someone else, like whether they've got favorites, okay, that's fair enough. Like, that's that person's choice. Whether it's necessary, I think it's a very grey area on whether it's a good or bad thing to do. I think, you know, as a streamer, we have the liberty, the option of choosing who we give shoutouts for. I myself gives them to everyone who I know streams, as long as I know them.
Yeah, makes sense. If I can cut in here for 1 sec, because you hit a thing and I want to make sure I don't forget it. A big part of etiquette and an important thing to know is each channel on Twitch is that streamer's house or their room in the bigger house that is Twitch. And everybody's going to define the rules differently. So just because you have rules in your house that work one way does not mean somebody else is going to do that in theirs. The rules can be very personalized. You might shout out more people because you want to try and lift up more streamers you're working with, or that you know, or that you're trying to help, while other people might do less, and that does not make them a bad person. That does not make them like a bad person or make them not do etiquette. Exactly. So there is a degree where we can kind of boil down what the baseline etiquette should be. to a certain extent, and then also like talk about like what we do personally for our own individual room etiquettes.
Yes. Absolutely. But what would, let's say someone did that in your chat. If I, no, they would be me. But for example, if it were me, somebody you know came into your chat, Deus, and said, "Hey, can I have a shout out?"
Or where's my shout out or something like that.
Yeah.
So generally speaking, I'm still small enough. My chats are usually not that busy. Today is actually one of the busier days in my chat. So when I see somebody show up that is a streamer that I know, I usually shout them out anyways. So somebody's like, where's my shout out? Your answer would probably be, let me finish typing it, bitch, and then just leave it at that. I'm probably in the middle of typing it or typing it wrong. But I do tend to have favorites, and I do tend to have people that I would casually shout out more often. But I sometimes don't do that because sometimes people just want to lurk and they just want to relax and they don't want to be called out like that. Other times, I like to hear them squeal, and definitely when you were helping me with my affiliate push earlier this year, I think I shouted you out a lot. You were also around a lot, but you were helping a lot. So that's kind of like, I'm like, okay, if you're gonna try and bring a bunch of people into my community to help me grow and help me hit affiliate, 1000%, I am giving you that damn shout out as often as I can think of it. I think I'm gonna follow Blood Sama. But otherwise, yeah, I do like to shout out for raids because that will also it tells me what they were playing. But like besides that, like that's just kind of a simple thing for raids, and I have a very simple like just text-based raid shout out. I know there was one where there's a bit of a controversy in the last few months where people were talking about changing your raid shout out or changing whatever you did for your shout out coding to not play clips because people sometimes didn't want that, or sometimes unflattering clips might play. That was never really an issue for me because I wasn't doing it in the first place.
Yes.
Also, sorry Dan, you're in a jar.
I have been jarred.
You have been jarred.
I am actually gonna bring that up because I was one of those who were doing those specific shout outs that would show people's clips, and one of the reasons I stopped doing that, and I've explained this before, is because thank you for the hydrate. Let me quickly do that now. And the posture check as well. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Rain. So, one of the reasons I stopped doing those clip shoutouts was because I saw a very important, and a message that was important to me, in that it said about how those clips are not easily controlled, and they could potentially show someone in, say, for example, the pre-transition stage of their lives, and how that could potentially cause some very sad or very hurt feelings to come for that streamer. So
Makes sense.
Yeah, I stopped doing it into the basis of those who were like, I don't know who's coming into my streams and whether they are obviously of the trans community, and I don't want to potentially cause any hurt or harm by doing that clip thing. So I just stopped it across the board because it stopped those kind of feelings. Now, I do obviously support that, using it, but I now just do shoutouts as much as I can. Apart from today, I'm not doing them today because I need to chill. Sorry, everyone. But I love you. Go follow everyone in my chat. There you go. Done.
No, and that's a valid point too. And I will say because I actually had a weird glitch for a long time. I didn't have a lot of clips, and I started like making my own. And before I really did that, I noticed sometimes when I would get those video shoutouts, I would get this weird clip from Monster Hunter, like an old Monster Hunter playthrough from ages ago, and I'm like, where the hell is this? I can't find it anywhere. And I had to like dig through and find some old clip that somebody made of some nothing minute from like me getting ready to go on a quest in Monster Hunter, and like it just kept playing because I had 3 clips at the time. So
You're such a
but I have somebody in my chat here saying they were debating about whether or not to include a clip for their super shout out, but they wanted the creative. They thought the creativity of the message was more than enough to send the message out, and it's just very plain and simple. Yeah. And I think that's a valid point. Like a shout out, if you want to keep it simple, like that's simple is probably. I think simple is definitely the baseline. Anything extra, like if that's your style and your branding and your flair, that's fine. I would not be offended if I went to somebody else's stream and didn't have a video shout out, and I'd be like, I spent all those times on those clips and they didn't give me a video shout out. Like I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Like
I agree.
it's nice enough that they just shout me out. Because I've definitely seen people do raids where there's no response at all, and it's rare, but yeah, that's usually where I see shout outs a bit more often, because I don't always see them in streams that I show up to, but I'm also have a good one, Bun Bun.
That reminds me, I wonder if I can do it here. No, I can't. Bun Bun, I need to give you the artist role on my channel.
Nice. But yeah, I think for like raiding etiquette in general, like also like here's an interesting question about raiding etiquette. Do you have like a bracket of people, like a size bracket you raid into? Because I get a little bit leery raiding into somebody too big unless I have like a specific reason. Like when I was playing A Little to the Left, I raided the streamer that inspired me to play that. And I had no qualms in doing that, because even if they were upset about it, like, why did you raid me? You have like 2 viewers. I'm like, well, because I was playing this, because I watched your stream. And they were fine with that. They actually, I saw them talking about it, and they're like, I love hearing from people say they picked this game up because they read my terrible review of the game, my review where I hated it, and they decided to play it anyways. She likes that. But yeah, normally like I'm in like single-digit concurrent viewers, and I try not to raid people that are more like 50 or more, unless I have like a very good reason, or if I'm like, this is a really good person, we're gonna go raid this really good person. But like if there are 100 concurrent viewers, I almost will never raid them, because I'm worried it'll be perceived as clout chasing in a way.
Sorry, I'm just typing out a to-do list for myself.
Fair enough. But that kind of ties back to the whole transaction relationships of being worried that people would see that raid as a transactional relationship, that they would see me, oh, he raided me, so he expects me to raid him. I don't want to do that. Now I'm angry at him, and that's kind of where the perceived transaction becomes a little bit of a concern, and you have to worry about like what your actions do and how they might be perceived by those on the receiving end.
Hi guys, hello, welcome in. Yes, transactional relationships. I don't have any expectations of anyone I support for them to give me anything in return, except if I raid into somebody, I would like a shout out at the baseline. Like,
I think that's fair etiquette, like just a text shout out.
Yeah, exactly. Rain, please do rest your wrist. Look after yourself. You said you tend to raid out to people you know, and or people you know that don't have many viewers at the time, to give them love and show them support. So hope you're well. Sounds like a deep subject. We get into some deep topics here, but we do it in a light-hearted way, which is nice. You know, we don't get super serious. We keep it light-hearted and, you know, to ourselves kind of thing, our opinions. So going back to raiding out, and whether it's in terms of, you know, that choice, honestly, so it's very challenging. I don't base it on the number of viewers someone has at all. I base it on how I'm feeling at the time. Usually after I stream, I just want a comfy mood, so I'll look at what someone is playing more than anything. And that does tie into a lot of what I used to do before this look of mine came out, and I would do a poll for everyone in chat and say, hey, here's 4 different types of games that are available for us to raid into. Where would you like to go? But now it's more of a case of I'll choose based on how I'm feeling. So it could be that I raid into someone who's just doing art because I really want to just chill and relax after stream and hope the community is in the same kind of mood. Especially if it's been like a really stressful stream, say like Hades or something, or like Persona or something like that. Then I'm like, I'm frazzled, I need to rest. But I'll also keep in mind like people who I haven't raided it to in a while, but having so many people as an option because I support so many people. Like right now, there are 22 people I follow, including yourself, Deus, that are live, that are options for me to raid into. And that's a lot of people to choose. I had to choose one out of those 22 people. It can be a challenge. You're taking notes, guys? Oh my gosh, okay. Love it.
I have 18 people online, but there are several at the top that are just like content streams that I follow that I realistically aren't ever going to raid. Like I follow the Twitch channel.
Could you imagine?
No, MST3K. Missy Science Theater 3000. They have a Twitch channel and they play the old movies for that. I'm never going to raid into that channel.
No.
I've got people at the top end that are popular streamers that are a couple thousand viewers. I'm not really going to raid into them, realistically. But I do follow your idea of like trying to kind of keep the vibe in the same place, unless it's like, okay, we're gonna try and wind it down. But I don't really think there's a problem with going from like a high energy to a low, because that again, like you said, you're trying to relax, you're trying to chill out. But yeah, definitely you don't want to go from a low to a high. You don't want to go from like a chatting stream or an ASMR stream to somebody just playing an aggressive game and screaming, because that does kind of throw off the vibe a little bit. But I don't think there's a problem with what you said either, where you go from like a high point and want to go to a low to relax, because then the people that aren't looking for that will just drift off somewhere else anyways.
Yeah.
But it is still nice for that person doing the kind of more cozy casual stuff to get at least a nice raid for a bit, and then people usually drift off from raids anyways.
Yeah. They'll make that choice of whether they want to stay, or if they've got someone else they want to go and watch, then they'll do that as well, and that's completely fair. Like, I totally respect that. You got to do what's best for you. That's what we say here.
Yeah, Ninja Comedy in my chat was saying that, like, their method's a bit complex, but they look for a topic, something topic related, or like a special event for a dear friend, which both is valid. Like I've oftentimes like tried to look for somebody playing the same game that I'm playing, and I've met cool streamers through that actually. But then they said if there's somebody they haven't raided out to, they can try that. I've done a few blind raids, but I've also had them not work sometimes. And then I do sometimes change it up based on like how many times I've raided somebody, because they were mentioning that, like
sorry, I'm laughing at your
rated...
chat.
Ravi, yes, Ravi calls me the professor.
Oh, thank you, Ravi. Love you. Oh.
Ravi is a sweetheart.
Lizard King. I just love that. Lizard King.
At least he saw the crown.
It's cheering me up.
But yeah, in terms of overall transactional relationships in the streaming environment, definitely as you get more professional, there is a degree where collaborations and business, things like that, they are a bit more like a project, and there is a degree of transactional nature in that. Like, I would like to do this with you, we will both get content, we will both have fun for each other, but it's that really works best if you're on equal footing. If one person is going to more wildly benefit than the other, that's where it becomes a problem for people, because at that point, yeah, you're just kind of using somebody.
Can you name an example where this may have happened to somebody, or even to yourself, for example?
I've seen more people talk about it where like they make friends, or they have people that try and make friends with them, and then they get bigger than that person and they stop being friends with them, kind of thing. Like that kind of
yeah.
stuff. And that does happen, unfortunately. I don't know if it's happened to me too often, because I haven't done a whole lot of collabs in the streaming environment. I probably should do more of them next year and reach out to more people. I really need to get better at that. So a lot of mine has just been solo streaming, so I don't run into this too often. Yeah, like...
I definitely have experienced where someone has gotten big and exploded and messaged me more. And I'm not gonna name them, but
I have a theory.
she has been a massive... I don't want to cry, but she has been a massive support over the past few months.
And if it's who I think they are, she's good people.
Let's just say it's the Sphinx and leave it at that.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's exactly who I was gonna. I was gonna say something effective. She's a good egg.
I get really emotional when I talk about the amount of support people are giving me, and I don't want to cry. I'm gonna cry. I know I am. I'm gonna cry.
No,
But
we'll
it's
move
okay.
on. Move on to something sadder, more depressing.
Kittens being abandoned. Why did I say that? I don't know. That's really sad. She's a keeper. Oh my gosh. Ninja.
I mean, he ain't wrong, but I think she's keeping us.
She is holding us dear to her heart, and I can't be more grateful than I am for that.
Yeah, she seems like a good soul.
For definite.
But yeah, like, so I definitely see that. Like I said, again, from people going from that more like casual, I just want to try out streaming.
Oh gosh.
Ravi's sassing you.
Oh gosh.
So I can definitely see that from more of like the people starting off and trying to do that, because it's easy for me to forget with as old as I am. A lot of streamers are fairly young, like they're college kids, or people college age, and I have 20 years on those people. For some of them, it's just like, yeah, I'm twice your age. I could be old enough to be your parent. That's why I see life very differently than you are. Ravi says it's hard to find good people too. Exactly. So it's running against, and I have seen this too, where people have their dream and they have what they want to pursue, and they're really relentless about that. And then when people or things start getting in their way, they can kind of be a little bit ruthless about that. And that is not good. And I think there is a lot more of that happens in this space that people just don't see. I'm fairly certain it's extremely cutthroat in the top end. Like, I would be shocked if it wasn't.
Yeah.
Because it's just human nature, and fame brings out the worst in a lot of people, unfortunately. Yeah, just people trying to get a grasp on professional relationships that might never have even been inside of a professional office environment. Like, I have the advantage of spending like a couple years, and I remember in my 20s when, like, I had my first job, the things I did in that office environment with my work computer, I would look at now and go, man, I'm so lucky they didn't fire my ass. I wrote a fucking book on my work computer at work. Like, I'm not even joking about that. Like, I wouldn't do that now. Wildly wouldn't do that now. In my 20s, I'm like, I don't know what the big deal is. So definitely, like, as you get older, the way you see things changes. And yeah, with as many people in the community that are younger, that are less experienced, they kind of haven't made the same mistakes that other people have. So, like, I can see why there's that much of that kind of drama, because, again, people are really driven, they're really relentless, they want to make it big. This is the thing that's going to pay their bills. And sometimes it is the thing that's currently paying their bills, and it's starting to slide, and they're just like, no, I have to do this. So it's hard to balance morality against will I eat this month? And sometimes
Ooh,
people have to make
that's a
that
big
hard
one.
decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's not go into that too heavily. But so that's our shared topic. I think we've kind of beat this to death because we've been talking about it for like 30 minutes.
We have, yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to touch on for this, or do you want to pick the next topic? Japan when learning, understanding isn't given.
I
It's
think
practice. Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
I just want to
understanding
say
is
that the good eggs out there that we know, thank you for all you do. Keep it up. I know it's hard, especially it's very strange to say, but when you're at the bottom and when you're at the top, so if you're striving to reach affiliate, keep going. All right, you can do this. If you need help, ask. Help is there. But also for those at the top, also keep going. You're doing amazing. We recognize that. And yeah, thank you. And that's it.
And also, there's nothing wrong with being at the top and reaching out for help there too. Because I've listened to a lot of high level creators that talk about like it's really lonely up here and you don't know who you can trust. And yeah, sometimes it's fine to just be a person and relax and just want to spend time with people relaxing and having fun and just be a person again instead of being the big fancy streamer. Oh no, how do we act? No, it's both sides of this equation can ask for help and we can meet in the middle as people and just help and support each other. So to all the good eggs out there, thank you. So did you want to pick the next topic, or I had 4 on my list. Did you want to pick the next topic, or are we going to go with the next one of mine?
What can you type to me what the next one of yours is to see if I'm ready for it? Oh no, yes. Or...
Well, one of them definitely. I don't think we want to jump to that. We want to have a little bit of a breather for that, so that's out.
Okay, you know what? Let's jump to my one, which is about some upcoming and special. So let me start again. Recently, there have been an outburst of a lot of demos for upcoming games that are coming out. And I wanted to take this time to highlight some of the exciting games that we have noticed, or the upcoming treasures, as I like to call them, that are going to be at the top of our list for the future.
When you mentioned the one that I'm sure is on both of our lists, I will be a rabid fanboy. I'm just warning you.
Okay, I was actually going to ask you to name the top one at the top of your list.
Bloomtown, motherfucking Bloomtown! Which, to be clear, for those who are wondering, why is Deus acting so weird? Bloomtown, Another Story, is a game I played, a demo I played like a month and a half, 2 months ago, which Dan was actually in that stream and he saw me play it. It is a Persona clone.
Yes.
But it is really cute. It has a great art style. Instead of being a teenager in Tokyo, you are like a little girl who's like 10, maybe 8, and her little brother, whose mom like shipped them off to the countryside to live with their grandpa in like this little small podunk town. But the music, the first fight you have music in, you're just like, you just stop and you go, is this a fucking Persona game? Like it's absolute, like I clipped it and made a video that I posted on socials that has me and Dan just having that moment where we stop and go, is this a fucking Persona game? I think it is. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I've been going back to it again a few times. It is fully a Persona game. When you like knock out all the enemies in a fight, you can capture them. It's exactly like a fucking Persona game in that regard too. You can equip demons that you find. It's exactly like a Persona game like that. Like, the more I play that demo, the more I'm like, it is exactly like a Persona game. And I keep checking the Steam page, and they have not updated the release date for this to anything other than Q3 of this year, which I am choosing to interpret as end of September, or I will riot. I want to play this game.
Yes. I'm just grabbing the Steam store page for what we're discussing right now. Let me just it's Bloomtown, A Different Story. Is that the one you were talking about? Yeah.
Yep, I will paste it in mine, and I got it for. I'm not sure if you allow links in yours.
I've posted it in mine. Yeah.
Okay, so we each have it posted in ours. But yeah, like the art style looks amazing. Is a fantastic looking game. The music's good. The mechanics are solid. It's the demo promises so much, and I am deliriously excited for this game. Like I cannot be. I have replayed that demo like 3 times. Oh my god. Yeah, and it's just. I had to do my hobbies and take it slow with hot tea. You know what? They have a record player in this game. You could relax with a nice record and some hot tea. I figured out how to fix the record player in the demo, and they give you a record right away. You can sit and relax and listen to it for a little bit. But yeah, you're really early in the game.
I have yet to play the demo
like
for
day
that.
3. Oh my god, play the
I'm
demo!
going to.
Damn.
I just added it to my library. I'm sorry.
Do it. Join the hype.
I will.
Rage against this thing taking so damn long.
I will. So I'm glad you mentioned Bloomtown. That is one of those on my
number
list.
1 for me, by far.
So I want to also add that you can also put games that have gone into early access in here as well, because that's what I'm about to name. So one of the ones on near the top of my list is Fields of Mystria.
Yeah, that one just came out as early access, right?
Yes. It let me just get the page up. It's all about owning your own farm. It has got Stardew Valley vibes, obviously. And then I haven't.
I have it on my wish list, but I haven't picked it up yet.
Yeah, let me send it to you on.
I'm looking at it already.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Am I liking it? Yes. Hey, Blood Summer, thank you for the hello. Bun Bun, am I liking it? Yes, I am loving Fields of Mystria a lot. It is giving me it just makes me really happy to play it. I don't really enjoy games that have the day and night time cycle. Anything with a time limit on stresses me out. Which is why I can't play those types of games solo. I have to have someone else with me, or like a group of friends, to know that we are making more progress than just me on my own. But with this game, there's no rush to that. It's just a case of looking after the farm, getting to know the people, and the way you get given your tools and such, I think, is well done as well. I've only played it for 90 minutes, to make that clear. So this is a really early, a really early little shout out for this game. But I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I like also looking at the Steam page here. I really like the art style. It's very like 90s anime. It's very chic. I like it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, they got a nice little touches in there. I do wish that the guy I'm crushing on was dateable. He is not one of the ones you can date, but his like edgy brother is, who's like, oh, why are you here to help us? We can handle this ourselves. And I'm just like, oh my god. Okay, why can't you just...
He probably has a lot of gold on all that stuff.
No.
Get out of the way, I want to date your brother.
Yes.
Fuck off.
Same Bun. Why you cannot do some games unless people are with me. Yeah. I'm the same.
Momo is an evil thing. It is a terrible serpent to fight with.
What's it called? FOMO.
FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about like you hate day and night cycles, and it sounded
Yeah.
like it was like you're worried you're not doing enough. You should be doing more, and that's FOMO.
Wanna romance
You're
everyone?
worried you're missing out.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
My God, yes. Give me more harem pathways. Give me more. Just
Good
like let me
man.
date all of the people and marry them all without having to mod that in. Yes, I agree, Bun Bun.
We are gonna
Romance everyone.
take a small 3-minute break for ads, if that's all right with you, Deus. We're gonna go on to be right back, and then we will resume. I'm gonna show off one more game that is in early access, and then you're welcome to show off another game that is either in early access or demo, up to you. But yes, we are going on an ad break now. Okay, take care.
I'm gonna do that as well.
Just pop this up.
Okay, I've got an ad going as well. Everything okay? We have returned.
We're back, everyone. Thank you for waiting.
Thank you for your patience, everybody. Ads suck, and that's why we play them, so they don't show up more often.
Exactly.
Counterintuitively.
Yes.
So yeah, Dan had said his next one. So for me, I'm in a bit of a lull for games right now. Some of the ones I played during that like demo stream that I did earlier this summer were games I was interested in, and a lot of them have kind of fallen off for me. Like there was a Soulsborne game that I played there, Anotria, which I did figure out how to get the graphics working better. They're still not great. They're still not great.
One based off of Italy, right? Is that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the Italy Soulsborne game. Basically, the problem is it tries to render out this huge portion of the map. So as soon as you get out to an area where it can do that, it will try to by default, and boy oh boy does that just make it make the graphics card eat itself.
Ooh, everyone, thank you for donating to the challenge. There you go.
Challenge. So yeah, that one I wasn't very interested in afterwards. I'm gonna wait for like reviews of it. Demon School was another one that I was kind of eyeing up, but didn't really like the playthrough of that. That one, Stream or Die, that I played in that during that demo section. That one I did get confirmation that they were using AI art assets. Apparently, there's a bit of a narrative reason why they do that. I don't really care. In part because I also, out of the entire like 5 or 6 hour stream I did of demos, that's the only one that had copyright claims. That game had the only ones, and it had a bunch of them. So I'm like, okay, I know they're doing the AI art. They're either really aggressively pursuing the copyright on the music that they're using, or maybe they don't have the rights for the music entirely, completely.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sorry, I just got a raid. Oh my gosh.
I saw.
Oh, hi. Yeah, you can't copyright AI. Yeah, that's just silly. Oh, I haven't done the prediction end yet. Sorry. Hi, Raiders.
This nice person who raided you. This is the nice person who just raided Dan. Ooh, Splatoon 3. Nice.
Oh, or a pasta raid. What kind of pasta are we cooking though? That's what I really got to know. What I mean, Oreo, you're French, so what pasta are you cooking specifically?
Chocolate.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Thank you so much for choosing me to raid into. I am here with good friend Deus, who we are having a gaming news chat. Well, we're discussing more than just gaming news, but we're having a good old chat right now.
And speaking of raiding etiquette, which was a topic we covered earlier, thank you for that raid you sent me a little while ago. I thanked you at the time, and I think I said something on Twitter, but also I have not forgotten, and I remember your name. So, lovely person. Thank you.
Oreo chooses penne pasta. Ooh.
Nice.
I need to Google it. I don't know my pasta. Please don't judge me.
It's a bit like ziti.
What's E? Everyone's learning how
afterwards dead.
How bad I am. Oh, tubies. Okay, penne is tubies. All right. I can support with that choice for sure.
But we were talking about demos and games that we were excited about. So right now, the one that I'm really seeing pop off, and I'm seeing a lot more information come out about it, Monster Hunter Wilds. They're finally doing the press tour for this. It will not be out until next year. We have no idea when next year, but they're finally talking about it, and they're finally giving like demos on like YouTube and Twitter, and I'm finally getting to see what some of the stuff they're doing in this game is. After they teased it in 2023, like I'm now like 8 months, more than 8 months later, I'm finally getting something to chew on for this, and I am living it.
What is also pasta? Oh, they're like grains of rice pasta. Sorry. Monster Hunter Wilds, I am excited for as well. I really got into Rise massively, and when Wilds was teased, it just blew my head off. I was like, yes! But you're right, we've barely got, like, anything. We've got...
Well, yeah, because they weren't ready to talk about it at the time. They gave a very, very basic
Well, they said it was in
teaser
development,
trailer,
wasn't it? Yeah.
and then they're like, you'll hear about it next year in like June, which is when they finally started showing more.
Yeah.
And now they're finally starting to come out with like the weapon demos and things like that, which gives me some hope that they're close to release. So we might get this more early 25, which is preferable to like December 25.
I'm
So
hoping
this
March
might be
25. Yeah.
Yeah, like January through March is what I'm really hoping for. Q1. I think we'll probably get.
Hi, Casolo. Thank you for being here. Love you.
I think we'll get a date for this probably before the end of the year. Maybe at the Game Awards this year we'll get it. We'll finally get a date for Wilds. Maybe we'll get it sooner. But they're really like getting into that press tour now. So they finally have enough polish to really show it off, I feel. So that's one I'm really hyped for. Also, apparently Five Nights at Freddy's has announced a 2025. Oh, it is announced for 2025 for Dead by Daylight. Nice. Yeah, I heard about that a little bit. I heard people were excited. I follow some FNAF fans. So
yes, I originally
I've never played it.
I originally, when they did that announcement, I was originally like, uh-oh. And then I saw some things in the comments about how the original creator, Scott, had been unsupportive with certain donations. But then I learned that Scott wasn't actually a part of... Which shocked me. I didn't realize this, but yeah, Scott Cawthorn is no longer like CEO of the developing company of FNAF. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, people have been asking for the FNAF Dead by Daylight crossover for 10 years, ever since Dead by Daylight really like became a thing. So good for them. Good for them. I'm interested to see more. Let's find out what happens. What was my last?
And I had one more game to talk about. If you want to switch over to you first, and I have one more. This one's already out, but it has a near and dear place to my heart. But I will trade back to you after talking about Monster Hunter. But yes.
Yes, I would probably say. Let me just double check. No, I don't.
Yeah, Bloomtown is a both of us one.
I mean,
based on what I remember your reaction was.
I don't know if this counts as technically like being in early access, but Indigo Park is interesting to me. It's scary, but it's also got the childish aspect of being in a theme park, and I love that. I really, really love that. So I played the first chapter, which again is why I'm like, is it early access? Is it not? Because they're releasing it chapter by chapter, so the full game's not out yet. So technically, it is early access. Anyway, yeah, that's something I'm excited for more from.
That makes sense.
What have you got on your mind?
So the one I wanted to mention, which just came out a week ago, or in the last week, they released a remastered version of Fate Stay Night for PC and Steam. To be clear, this is... Yeah, they did. So this is the visual novel that is behind all of the other Fate stuff. This is the granddaddy of them all, and that has a big asterisk on the end of it because the actual granddaddy of them all was a porn game, and that's not what this one is. This one is just the visual novel that they cleaned up all the other stuff.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
No, I didn't know.
Let's just say when they're doing a mana transfer, they're transferring a bit more than mana. But no, they did a remaster of, I guess, one of the ones for like the PSP port or one of those.
Thank you, Karen. Welcome in. Oh.
And yeah, the original one behind all of that cool action games and anime was originally a visual novel, a rom-com, or not a rom-com, a romance
Hi,
visual
cutie.
novel. But yeah, it came out. Well, the advertisement on Steam says 8/8/24, but the release date actually says 8/7/24, so it's gonna be 8/8 in Japan. But yeah. I haven't bought it yet. I want to check it out and pick it up. I kind of want to play it on stream. I will say, release went terribly, and they've already had to patch it to fix some game-breaking bugs, so I'm living for that too. There's a little bit of Schadenfreude. Yeah, apparently, like, I guess you had to, like, go in and, like, do something to change the default language to Japanese and then back to get to work or something silly like that. Like, stuff that could have been fixed. But yeah, I absolutely want to get a first-hand experience with this, and it's something that I really didn't have an easy way to access it before, outside of like, you know, rips and ports and things that people had done. But yeah,
Okay.
the original remaster of Fate Stay Night.
He's out.
Good times. Do you mind if I post that in your chat too?
Send it to me on Discord, otherwise auto model will block you.
Yeah. But yeah, it's hard not to get excited about the progenitor of the Fate franchise.
I watched
finally getting a PC release.
Anime of Fate Stay Night, and
This is the original Studio Dean, or is this the Unlimited Blade Works one by Ufotable?
that's the one. Unlimited Blade Works. Yeah, that's the one I watched. With the really hot Archer character. Yeah.
Well, he's in all of them.
Oh.
But actually, that is an interesting point for this. The game actually has 3 endings. Famously, the Fate route, which is you have to do first, and once you clear the Fate route and get that ending, and there's, I guess, 2 variances of it. There's like the regular ending and and then the good ending. Sorry, I'm coughing a bit here.
No, that's fine.
And then only once you do that, then you get the choices that'll allow you to go down Unlimited Blade Works. And once you finish Unlimited Blade Works, then you can access the Heaven's Feel route, which they only did as a series of movies.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
There isn't an anime adaptation. But yes, they're all 3 routes. The original Studio Dean anime was like the Fate route. Unlimited Blade Works was obviously that route. And then Heaven's Feel is its own thing, which is also the saddest and most tragic of them all. But it is amazing that something that started off as just this silly visual novel turned into all of what it did in the last like 20 years. Like, when did this come out initially?
Well, I don't know. Apparently, it originally came out for commercial release in 2004.
2004, January. Yep, I just saw it here. So yeah, 20 years. The 20-year-old visual novel that has turned into a gacha game and
A ginormous series of everything, basically, yeah.
Yeah, multiple anime series, multiple movies, multiple spin-offs. Like, they have been tremendously successful with this product. And bless them for it.
Well, that covers that subject of mine. I guess we can segue into one of yours.
Okay. What do I have here that we jump into? I'll do a small one here, and then we can maybe jump back from this.
Okay.
So it's a topic that started off because I found somebody that was offering mental health services through the art commission platform VGen. I did notify them of this. I never heard anything back. It's up to them whether or not they did any action about it. Definitely don't harass or bother VGen about this or about anything I'm about to talk about. Because they can run their platform how they want. But it brought to mind an old conversation I remember from like the MMO spaces, which is this a clever use of game mechanics or is this an exploit? Which is kind of this question of somebody's using a system in a way that it wasn't intended to achieve fantastic results, and like, is this something that you should praise or punish?
Okay. Do we
and
know?
that is the broader question I wanted to kind of like debate and talk about, for because there's various things. So there's even a streamer or a VTuber I saw blow up recently that got like 4,000 followers in their first week as a VTuber, and people were all like, "There has to be something sussy about this," and it's like, no, somebody broke it down like, "Oh no, here's the marketing tactics they use to do it. It's legit.
Yeah.
It's not an exploit. They cleverly use game mechanics."
So going to the specific of someone using or selling mental health services on VGen, I then have to like, I would want to first of all know if this person is a qualified trained professional, obviously.
Yep.
And whether, whether they've got the diplomas or the degrees that they might need in order to be doing this, and exactly how it works under data protection laws and confidentiality laws.
And that's kind of why I
sticky.
reported to VGen, because mental health is really tricky, and just health in general is very tricky legally.
Yeah.
Also, I know a former job of mine, I used to do IT tech support for state-level government in the US. Won't say where. But I used to support the government agency at the state level that did licensing for my state in the US. So I know there is a board of licensees requiring a specific license to practice mental health in that state that I was living at the time. Which means there's probably 50 of those across the country, all of which have their own standards. And this person was basically saying, as long as you speak English, I can work with you. And I'm like, you're not licensed. You're not licensed. This is almost certainly illegal.
I wonder.
But I actually
anyway.
I grabbed a text thing here. Of what the thing was. I'm gonna read it to you. So to start off with, the costs were really low, which I think was part of their thing, is they were offering things very inexpensive. It was $18 for a session, which I think was like an hour-long session. Their details were: are you overwhelmed with life, or have you just had too much with your daily activities, work, streaming, school, family, friends, love life, etc., that you need a space to breathe? Have you been told you were trauma dumping on them and are having a hard time looking for people to listen to you? Are you looking for someone to talk about matters of the heart, to be able to eventually unload it and make sense of it with confidentiality and non-judgmental approach? Hello, my name that has been redacted welcomes you to a safe and accountable space for you to be able to unfold these deep-seated thoughts and feelings, organize those ramblings into a set of feasible information to aid you towards creating solutions to your problems. Includes 1 hour-long session of psychological first aid, psychoeducational and basic counseling from a mental health service provider. Languages in English or Filipino only. Anyone from around the world can avail this service as long as they can speak either of these languages. Why choose me? I am currently an MA in clinical psychology candidate, currently graduating and taking their psychologist licensure later this year. Also working with mental health service provider for the past several years. Working as a mental health service provider for the past several years at a reputable mental health institution with a half-decade in clinical experience. So, they are definitely not licensed in my state. They admit here in this that they are taking their licensing test later this year. They said they have experience, but there's no way to prove it. It looks sus as fuck. And it's one of those things where, like, I can see there being demand for low-cost mental health services. But also, this is one of those, like, you get what you pay for. I see a counselor. I pay them out of pocket. I don't send it through insurance because it's cheaper for me. I pay $100 a session for an hour-long session. This person is charging $18. I don't think you're getting the same quality, and I don't even know where they're getting licensed. Like, if you're licensed, because they mentioned they speak Filipino. If you're licensed in the Philippines, you can't practice medicine in the U.S. It doesn't work that way. There are treaties that there aren't treaties that say that works. So that's kind of why, like, it's a very simple, like, is this allowed? Should this be allowed? My answer is no. Like, and that's why I reported to VGen, but I also don't like want to pick up a fight and like cause problems for them. I think they're a very good platform, and this is a terrible thing to try and cancel them for. But that's why, like, looking at this from the greater, because again, it's a very simple conversation. If it's, you know, is this good or bad? My answer is bad.
Yeah.
But on the idea of, so somebody's using VGen in a way, like VGen's an art platform. Like, you commission art here.
I'm gonna
They're
jump
using it
in.
in a way that it's not intended.
Mm.
And that's interesting. And how okay is it to use places like this in ways that they weren't intended? And is it okay or is it not?
So
And that's the more interesting comment to me.
I'm gonna jump in and kind of like take over for a bit, if that's okay. This could be a very long spiel from me, is what I'm saying. So, as a very, very, very strong mental health advocate, as my community knows, as you all know, I will always strive for those to seek mental health services where it is available, as long as, you know, there is the right qualifications and professional licensing, that kind of thing.
Yes.
So with regards to this, my first opinion was, okay, are they professionally licensed? And we found out not yet. So I would say, number one, please do not look this up on VGen. Please do not commission this person for this help, because it may not be legal at all for you to do that. And I don't want anyone to possibly get into any kind of danger legally. My next thing would be...
I don't know if it would fall on the clients for doing something illegally. It would probably follow on the practitioner for practicing medicine without a license. Would be my guess. But just
just look after yourselves, basically.
I will dive back into the shadows.
However, I am... In this day and age, I am well aware that the mental health services that are available across the world, it's not just in one location, are inadequate for a lot of people. They are, you know, too costly, or have long wait lists, or they're not of the right quality, or even in some cases, the service users are not listened to, which is just dreadful. So... whilst I am hesitant and telling you not to, obviously, attend mental health help through VGen, of all places, if it is found that it is helpful for some, so say like there are legitimate reviews saying what was done, what helped them, the practices that were put in place, that kind of thing, then I am all for services such as this being provided along any kind of website. So I would say if for example, someone who had a doctorate, was a doctor of psychology, and wanted to run mental health sessions through VGen, has all the licensing, all that stuff sorted out, I would be okay with that. I'd be like, good. As long as it's, you know, affordable for people and your wait lists aren't months long, you know, potentially putting people at risk even further, because long wait lists do that. Go for it, is what I'm saying. As long as, again, licensing and the protections for you are in place. But that is my spiel of it.
So I'm actually a bit in the opposite direction, which is VGen is a platform that is predominantly for art and for artists. They are not equipped to handle the licensing, to make sure people are licensed. They are not equipped to handle confidentiality. They're not equipped to deal with any potential abuses that might occur. This feels too much of a deviation from this, and I have seen people like offer like advice and like have things like that. And I don't really have that, like where what's the word that people use? It's not like counseling, but it's like there's a thing, a life coaching. Like that's a very like, yeah, you know, chat with somebody, get some advice, get some feedback, get some input. If somebody was doing life coaching through VGen, I'd probably be fine.
Yeah.
Advertising yourself as this is mental health. This is mental health professionalism. I am a licensed person. I don't think VGen is the right platform for that. There are other platforms. You can go to the other platforms. Why don't they use them? Probably because they can't. They aren't qualified enough to pass those. Because you can sign up for a place like BetterHealth and be a counselor through there and get actual clients and be able to run things through insurance. But VGen does not want to get the support email that's like, hey, how do I use my health insurance to run my counseling session through VGen? Like, how do I pay for this properly? Like, VGen does not want to have that conversation. And that was really why I reported it, because it's such a mess. And if VGen gets caught up in it too much, like if they get like fined or something, like that's going to pull down a site for a bunch of other people that are using it for their own good and benefit the way it was intended.
Yeah.
Like I said, life coaching, I have no problem with. You want to give advice? No problem with. I'm fine with everything up to including up to the point when they say, I am a fully trained mental health professional and this is official mental health services. No, it is not, and no, it should not be. That is my place for that particular conversation.
Yeah.
But the broader, topic and conversation of somebody like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I think generally, like, the more you deviate from something, the less okay it is. Because you can even look at this topic of like, is it a clever use of game mechanics or is it an exploit of like Twitch's issues last year with like people doing really sussy streams where people were doing like those streams where they looked like they were topless but they didn't show anything. It's like, what's the rule? Twitch says don't show female presenting nipples. Did those streamers show that?
No.
Technically no, but everybody else was like, oh, come the fuck on.
Yeah.
So that's one of those where we know Twitch doesn't want adult content on it, but people are really stretching that line a lot of times to get things as close as they can. And sometimes they go over that line, and Twitch will allow them briefly, because it's a business and they like making money and everybody's talking about it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest, it's not a moral decision for them or a TOS decision. It's a business decision why they let some things go as long as they do. The gambling stuff was there for ages before Twitch did something about it and got them off the site. But definitely
there for the
they're
gambling thing.
Broadly speaking, Twitch used to allow certain types of gambling on the site. They do still allow others. Like, there's still poker on there. There's still sports gambling. But like slots and like a specific company, essentially they banned a specific company and all of its like sub websites that it does, because it was just really exploitative. And they used to fund a lot of big streamers, and essentially all those streamers got in a huff and went over and started streaming on Kick. And they just basically did the same thing.
I think it collapsed.
Yeah. Because they basically like this place was like offering people like millions of dollars to get kids hooked on gambling, essentially is what it was. And the streamers were like covered for all their losses. It was very, very sus.
Dodge.
It was not good.
Nice. Okay.
At least that is gaming, at least, and I would have been more acceptable for that on Twitch, but that's a whole different thing. But yeah, generally speaking, like that idea of like using something in a way that it isn't intended. I mean, even VTubing in general is one of those things, because like this is live 2D. It's like it's not meant for like a person puppeting it to entertain people on a stream, but that's what we're using it for these days. And I feel like this is very clever use of game mechanics. Like, I saw people talking about like live 2D as like a design element in games, and some games having live 2D art. And
yeah,
it's cool in the game, but then when we do it like for streaming, it's even better because it's a game in real life. It's an interactive game. Hello, Prometheus. We are both Dan, so I will greet you as well.
Other Dans.
But yeah, it's never really a topic that has a solid answer, because the boundary line is always moving, because the human mind is always trying to think of a way to puzzle solve whatever to get whatever it wants. Like that's,
Yeah.
we do it as children, we do it as adults. That's kind of why you have to like keep an eye on kids so they don't like, okay, dad said you can't have any snacks, didn't they? And it's like, I don't know.
Evie does ask, what was Live 2D made for then?
I think it was more of like probably like cinema and games. That's actually a really good question. Huh. Well, it's the AI results, but according to Google, Live 2D first originated in 2008 to resolve the need for interactive media, specifically in backgrounds.
Oh.
Interesting. It's a Google AI answer, and I have no idea how accurate. Oh, it pulls it from the Live 2D wiki. Yeah, fuck that. I'm just gonna go to the wiki. Animation technique used to animate static images, separate parts.
I think you thirst.
Yeah, Live 2D. The Wikipedia says it first introduced in 2008 to resolve the need for interactive media.
Thank you for the hydrate.
So yeah, it was an animation tool used in the late 2000s.
Okay.
To transform flat characters to achieve a three-dimensional head. So it probably is essentially
I think it was
using
yeah.
2D to fake 3D in like games and visual novels and things like that.
And even films, CGI and things like that. That's probably where I think it probably originated from, was animated movies or animated characters in movies, and then they used that's what Live 2D was created for. But yeah, it's now used for streaming, which is very creative of us, I'd say.
Yeah, but it's wildly different than the original intention. But I have I'm not here throwing a fit over us using it on Twitch. Like, I'm not gonna be like, wow, I'm not a Live 2D purist. That we should just go back to having Live 2D backgrounds and just have real people here. No, screw that. I'm not anti VTubing. But it is like I said, it's one of those. There's never going to be a clear answer of that for anything and everything, because the line's always moving and the human mind is always trying to find a way to turn something around and try and figure out a way around a problem, whether that problem is just a logistics issue or that pesky law that keeps getting in the way. The human mind will try and finagle a thing. But like I said, this is one of those interesting things where you start with an example and then kind of blow it up to a bigger conversation, which I think is more interesting. And that's what a lot of my topics for this Dan and Dan are about and are like. So
exactly.
But I think we're kind of done with this one. I think
yes,
it sounds like
I was gonna move us on to discussing.
I have two more. So
let's take one of mine.
Okay.
Might be on your list as well, but it is the amount of layoffs that we have seen from gaming studios over the past few months. Is that on your list? I don't know, but
no, that one is not. Though there is something tangential related to that we might be able to shift into next.
Okay, so if you were unaware, everyone, Bungie, the company, this is the most recent layoff. Bungie, the company behind Destiny 2 and many other games, and with such an amazing success of the most recent Destiny 2 DLC, the Final Descent, they made the decision to lay off more of their staff, on top of those who were also laid off earlier this year from Bungie. And this decision obviously is made from the top down. It's not at all the middle people's faults, or those managers who are then have to do that. It's absolutely the people at the top who are making this call. I think the Final Descent DLC for Destiny 2 was one of the most high earning DLC that Destiny 2 has seen. And this decision definitely feels like it comes from a money greed standpoint. It was actually raised to me earlier today that the CEO of Bungie, just I think it was a week or two before these layoffs occurred or were announced, the CEO of Bungie had bought not one, not two, but 5 cars.
Ooh.
One of which being an antique, as I was informed. Thank you for the posture check, Mars. Let me do that now for you, buddy. Oh,
Yeah, that's not a good look for him. That's not a good look at all.
So I just wanted to discuss how harmful this is actually to the gaming community as a whole, because
Thank
of
you for the follow, Mass Dragon.
the amount of experience that we lose from game development themselves. Like, some of those people who had like 10 years plus of game development experience will just let go, and we lose that experience that could then be put into making further games better. Those people then obviously have to then find other jobs that might not end up being in the gaming sector at all, which is such a huge loss, a huge detriment to the gaming community. Because Lord knows.
On topic is this is the use of AI art in games, and people who think OpenAI should be bummed from whatever. Yeah, that's gonna be part of my topic to transition into. Don't worry, we'll get to that.
Yeah, that kind of ties into what I was about to say, which was like, it's so difficult now to get into the gaming sector because of the rise of AI, in that a lot of the companies will turn to AI rather than a person, and it just really pees me off. It really gets me angry that gaming companies are now starting to do the same route, as and not seeing as harsh a consequence as they should, or I believe they should, I should say.
Yeah. So I have some thoughts on this.
Mm-hmm.
So part of my way of dealing with this is understanding kind of what's happening and why. So I've been watching this come up in a lot of podcasts I watch, and some of it comes down to I lost my train of thought. Damn it! I just started talking. Some of it comes down
starts from, kind of thing.
Yeah. So a lot of it is financials and how that ties into a lot of this stuff. So for years and years, with the way interest rates were, companies could almost essentially borrow money for free, and there was very little penalties for having a bad thing not pay out. And now with interest rates going up, that has not been the case. So some of them are trying to tighten their belt strings a little bit and get rid of a lot of people they added on that they now seem as a loss. But also some of it talked about like markets and marketing, and you're not trying to sell the game to an audience anymore. You're trying to sell it to investors. Not only do investors like AI, which kind of ties on to that, investors like infinite money. Investors like this idea that their money will always go up, it will never go down, and the markets, and having to constantly pander to the markets. And I've seen this come up in conversation about tech, that like there's probably going to be a big tech fallout in the next 10 years because tech has run out of things to do simply and easily that it's going to make a lot of money. And once people figure out that tech is just smoke and mirrors, doing a lot of that right now to try and make people believe that they still should get capital and venture capital, the floor is going to fall out underneath it. And that's kind of the two things that have come together, where companies are not trying to produce good products anymore. They're trying to produce things that are going to make investors happy. And it's funny to see some of this happen and see some of the conversations talking about it. The people, some of whom worked in the game industry that I heard about, because like they were talking about how Miyazaki, the director who made all these great FromSoft games, he got his start making Soulsborns because they came up to him and they said, "We want you to make a clone of Oblivion." Elder Scrolls 4, I think, Oblivion. And with what he did in the end, he's like, "Sure, yeah, I'll do that." And then he put Demon Souls. What he turned in at the end of the assignment was he turned in Demon Souls. And like, what the fuck is this? And they're like, "Have fun. It's all you're gonna get from me. I spent all your money already." And it's the first Soulsborne game that then has spawned this massive massive genre that is widely beloved, but management didn't want Demon Souls. They didn't want a Soulsborne genre. They wanted an Oblivion clone.
Yeah.
So management kind of has their head up their ass. They're not trying to make anything good. They're just trying to copy everything else. Like that's the same way with what we've seen for Twitch and the new mobile app push, which is terrible because it's basically trying to make a long form video platform look more like a short form video platform, which is just stupid.
Yeah.
And why do you do that? And the answer is because some investor somewhere said, "Well, TikTok's really popular right now. Why don't you make Twitch more like TikTok?" Which is one of those answers one of those questions that the answer should be to walk up to that person and just slap them, because they're not the same thing, and you should not do that.
They can't be the same thing.
Yeah, they can't be the same thing. You cannot make an app that people watch for 5 hours in a row work like an app that people watch for 30 seconds in a row. It does not work. It doesn't work. Even if you're copying UI similarities, it just doesn't work.
And I think that's
so
what
it's this
they
kind of issue
did. Yeah. That's what they tried to do with the most recent mobile update, isn't it? They tried to make it look more like TikTok or like one of those fast-paced apps.
Yeah. Vertical video fast-paced apps, which is that's not what Twitch is. But to pull it back, because I know I've gone into the weeds here a lot. Why are there so many layoffs? Why are there so many problems? And it's because they are constantly trying to just kiss the investor's ass, because that's who they need to make happy. They do not care about their employees. They don't care about their customers. They care about the investors, which is why are these people getting laid off? Well, it's right before an earnings call, isn't it? It's right before they have to tell the investors about all the money, and they want to go into that saying, "Well, we saved all this money by staff reduction." And it is really soulless late stage capitalism that is gonna bite them in the ass because it's all they're all on this AI idea, this AI dream that AI is gonna replace people, and it's not, because AI can't make good things. Like people have been clowning on like Google AI for giving answers about putting glue on pizza to make the sauce stick or the cheese stick or whatever the hell they said. And it's not there yet, but they're already like, investors are chomping at the bit to try and make more money from this. So companies are just throwing stuff in that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
That's just dog shit. And then they're firing people because like, well, we don't need these people anymore. We've got AI. And it's like, I don't think you do. A, I don't think you do. And B, it's not going to work the way you think it will. It really won't.
Exactly.
So I do feel really bad for the people in the game dev industry, because they are people who, those are the rank and file of people are the actual believers. They are the ones who want to make cool things, want to make good things that are good products that will sell well.
Yeah.
And management is like, but can you push 20% more copies than our Game of the Award-winning game from last year? Because if you didn't, it's not going to make the investors happy, and we don't care. And that is such a defeatist way of dealing with this problem. Which, I mean, businesses have a problem of making money, but it is such a self-sabotaging way of doing anything for this that you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're pissing off all of the people who can make you great, who will make you a critically praised DLC. And what do? Well, we need to make those entering calls, so we're just going to fire them all.
Yeah.
Good luck hiring them back when you need to make another award-winning DLC.
I'm gonna jump in and say that there is an ad break on the way for myself in 1 minute's time. So we're gonna run the ad now, if that's all right with you, Deus.
Yeah, let's switch over and
And,
run the ads, and we'll come back. We'll give ourselves a minute to calm down and stop frothing at the mouth, because I'm a bit there. I'm a bit there.
I think you are. I'm not. I'm
You-
just sat here like, phew, head in the clouds right now. But yes, let's run an ad break, and then we will be back with whatever is next on your list. All right. See you
Talk to
soon,
you soon,
everyone.
folks.
Bye. Okay, we are back. Alright. Have we calmed down enough?
I've had a snack and I got some fresh water. I think I'm not gonna kill a motherfucker, so we're good.
That is good to hear. Did you want to lead the next part with your next topic? I interrupted you during your snack, didn't I? Oops.
Well, I came back with a really long pretzel stick that I was continuing to chew, and I'm like, I can't chew this fast.
I love pretzels.
Yep.
Oh.
So my next story that I want to talk about kind of bounces off of a story talking about Wizards of the Coast, the company behind Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons. They, like many other companies, have laid off a bunch of people this year, a lot of creative people, and there was a lot of concerns because they got caught using AI generated content. And I found a web announcement on their website as of January 7th of this year, where they had the update on their stance of AI tools, generated AI tools, and Magic, specifically Magic the Gathering. They already made it clear that they require artists to do all this, to refrain from using AI generated stuff. You know, they don't want this
to be included, basically.
Yeah, they said it ends with the sentence here: "We can't promise to be perfect in such fast developing space, especially with generative AI becoming standard in tools such as Photoshop. But our aim is always to come down on the side of human-made arts and artists."
Right.
So then they laid off a bunch of people.
Right.
And somebody found this thing, and I found the original post on June 2nd of this year for a job posting for Wizards of the Coast principal AI engineer. Job listing includes explore new uses of AI for all levels of game development. What you'll bring: AI asset creation and generative content. So they fired a bunch of artists and are hiring an AI engineer.
Okay.
So, obviously, again, with many of my other topics today, there is the response on this topic, which is go fuck yourself, go fuck yourself, go fuck yourself, go fuck yourself. But the broader idea I wanted to kind of bring up from this is, what do you do when your hobbies or your interests or the things you love turn bad?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you deal with that? How do you process that? What do you do? How do you cope? And that's an interesting conversation.
Okay. So
because the quiet violence I hear in your tells me you're in camp. These guys can go fuck themselves for what they did to the artists and this AI generated engineer content bullshit.
Yes, you are correct. This actually ties in heavily to something that happened actually between when we last spoke and now, in that Lionshead Studios, the one who worked with Wizards of the Coast on Baldur's Gate 3, came out and said that they are no longer going to be working with Wizards of the Coast on any future productions at all, including games.
I didn't hear why.
So maybe this could be why, in that they were able to identify that Wizards of the Coast were going down a route that they did not want to follow. Lion says, Lion says they is it Lion's Head?
I thought it was Larian.
Larian, that's it. Thank you. Lion's Head are the ones behind Fable. Larian Studios will no longer be working with Wizards of the Coast in the future, and that is actually one of the reasons we're not getting any Baldur's Gate 3 DLC at all, is because Larian have said, nope, we've wiped our hands with you, the game is done, we're not going to work with you anymore, goodbye. So
I did hear that story, yes.
It is now becoming clearer that Wizards of the Coast are going down a dark path. As someone who used to support them through being, into heavily based into TTRPG, Dungeons and Dragons, and also the card games, it hurts a bit. Actually, it hurts quite a lot to hear that Wizards of the Coast have gone back on what they originally said. As for how to cope with it, I don't think there is any one way to cope with something you so highly supported and was so ingrained in as part of my life. There is hi Ink, welcome in. There are YouTube channels that I still watch that still have people playing Dungeons and Dragons that I follow and such, but as for whether I'd go and buy models or one of the new books that comes out that's based on Dungeons and Dragons or something like that, or something Wizards of the Coast brings out, I wouldn't do that anymore. I haven't had an interest in that for some time. I would say, hey, dice are shiny click clacks. You can still collect them. You don't have to use
shiny
them.
math rocks.
Exactly. So, yeah, I'm gonna stick to my dice collections, but I'm not gonna get anything Wizards of the Coast based anymore. That's my take on this, and that is how I'm going to cope with when something that is so big turns sour, as I see it.
And I think that's a valid response because you've seen that happen with Harry Potter and stuff too, where people who were big Harry Potter fans, and then J.K. Rowling was J.K. Rowling, and people are like, they are, you know, shoot on appearance for any new Harry Potter products, and just it is dead on arrival. They do not like it. But there are people who grew up with it are just like, it's hard for me to walk away from this thing that was a huge part of my childhood. Like, I remember that happened when Hogwarts Legacy came out. Like, it's really hard for me to walk away from this thing because like it's part of who I am. It's part of my identity and what I saw myself in as a kid, and it's hard to disentangle that.
Yeah.
If you can hard break it, that's fine. If other people are struggling with it, that's understandable. I have empathy for that.
And I do think it is important to say that, obviously, bringing up Hogwarts Legacy, that game is, you know, has said that they're not affiliated with the one who should really not be named.
She who shall not be named. Yes.
She who shall not be named. So, yeah, that game has wiped its hands of the dirtiness, as did Larian Studios. So, I think if you know, if you want to play Hogwarts Legacy, go ahead. It's now in an era of. I think it's important for game studios to not affiliate themselves with such high influencing people if they can.
Yeah, there is a degree where we've really gotten to like a celebrity worship in the last few years.
Yes.
And
yes.
boy oh boy, when they fall off of their pedestals,
the backlash is horrid.
It's not good. Actually, for specifically Wizards of the Coast, an interesting thing of it is a lot of these decisions seem to be coming down the pipe from Hasbro, the parent company that owns Wizards, which then owns like both Magic and D&D, because there was a lot of other decisions coming down the past few years with Dungeons and Dragons. What was it? It was like the player agreement. I'm drawing a blank on the actual term, but basically their agreement for like licensing content, and they tried to pull some shenanigans then, and the community pushed back, and the community keeps pushing back on the company trying to make more money off of this stuff, or trying to cut costs and cut corners. And it ties back in with what I said last time. Like, I think a lot of this is just investors and investor push, and just people needing to constantly double the value, triple the value for some of this stuff. It's like, you can't do that and piss everybody else off. But when the money people are saying, do this now or I'm pulling out, they got you by the short hairs, and there's not much you can do. But yeah, like, what do you do? What do you do when your hobbies turn bad? I mean, obviously grief is a great response to this, because it is losing something from your life. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with grieving that. There's nothing wrong with being angry about that. There's nothing wrong with taking a step back and taking a break from it as completely as you have to. Like, I know I've stopped following a lot of Dungeons and Dragons content and content creation spaces online because, in part, I've just been losing interest over the past few years. But seeing this, like, I don't want to see something and then get excited for it and then have to go, oh, but I can't buy it because of all these bad things. I can't buy it because the company's doing terrible things and firing its art team and using AI engineers. Like, I don't. It's just easier for me to just emotionally take that step back and be like, I just won't look at it at all. If you don't want to get rid of it, there are tons of other systems in place out there that you can buy and check out and try, and, you know, switch to Paizo, flip D&D the middle finger, and
it's
do
Pathfinder. Pathfinder.
Paizo's Pathfinder. So there is a degree where it feels like the end of the world, and it can be, and that grief is valid, those feelings are valid, that has a place in your life, and there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that time is ending and that period is ending and you need to move on. You can still care about it, you can still talk about the good times. It's odd to have a funeral for someone or something that's still alive, but there's nothing wrong with just going, I once liked this and now I don't anymore, or I can't anymore, or I shouldn't anymore, and it's time to walk away. Talking about celebrities, there's been an unfortunate number of stories coming out in the last couple months about adults who got a little too handsy with kids and people in their communities who have to make a decision. And there are some people who are just so sunken cost fallacy that like they can't let themselves say no, because now they're like, if I throw them down now, what does that mean I spent the last couple years of my life doing and supporting and being a part of? And oh God, did I help this? And I can see people struggling with that, but it is still the same grief. There's still the same rage of like, I cared so much about this and I supported you so much.
And
Why the fuck did you do this?
Yeah, I think that definitely came up with the Nichi-Sanji leaks.
Nichi was another example. Yeah.
About how, Anyway, let's move on, shall we?
You say why earlier, you're like, oh, so do we have a nicer topic to transition
and
to?
You were like,
and I'm like, because I saw this on the list. I'm like, no, how about you go first, Dan?
Dude.
I will say my fourth and final topic is a little bit lighter.
Okay.
It is a bit funny, but I wasn't sure if you had any other topics you wanted.
Oh,
do my fourth or one of yours? Your next one.
No, I
Can you
don't...
transition from my heavy topic to anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think I have anything else on my topic list. So.
Okay. So we'll jump to my last one then, and then we'll
get
just
into
kind of
final
quick fire a few things if we want to.
Yeah.
But I called this one "Communication and How to Get Your Message Across Without Getting Flamed on the Internet."
Oh, okay.
So this came up from somebody posting a video where they were talking about wanting to put a pause option in FromSoft Souls games. They wanted to advocate for that because most of the games are designed for the online only, for an online mode. So you can't really pause that.
Yeah.
And even if you play offline, they still don't enable a pause feature. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Some of the other games like Sekiro, which has no online feature, I don't think, you could pause that anytime. It's perfectly fine. So they've been trying to advocate for putting this into the game, which is fine. I'm on board with this topic. This is a fantastic idea. Let's do that. Why do they think this should be included? Well, they think it's valid for things like a situational disability, like having a child. That was their example, for which the internet went, I'm sorry, did you call being a parent a disability?
And
I
love how
no,
we're discussing Alana right now.
It's just an internal technical term. It's actually a dev term, and people are like, oh, so parents are actually disabled? Who's a dum now? And like other people, it was bad. It was a bad topic. It was a bad way to talk about it. And they got flamed, and it didn't matter that their friends came in and went, actually this is the official Microsoft term for it. Here, look at the book. You see it in the book. It's there in the picture. Yeah. It's a short-term situational disability because you're a new parent and you have to watch the baby. And people are like, so babies are disabilities then, are they? And they're like,
yes,
that's not what we're saying. You're conflating them. These are not the same terms. Listen. Oh, I used to suck at communication. And then I got so frustrated at being bad at it, I worked at it. And now I get to live in a world where I get to watch people say stupid shit like this and get flamed on the internet for a thing that I'm like, ooh, don't call parents disabled. Don't use that word in that context. Well, it's not that context. No, it really is. It really is. It really is.
So I'm on the opposite end of this. I disagree with you there in that I agree with context with what Alana Pierce was saying.
Yep, you know this one.
So I'm 100% in support of the way that was worded because it is true. You can't just, baby's crying. You can't just pause Elden Ring, go and sort out the baby. Well, I think Elden Ring you can, but say like Dark Souls.
Elden Ring you cannot. Elden Ring is online always. Yep.
So yeah, you can't just put the controller down, go sort out the baby, and be like, "Oh, I'll be fine. I'll come back to my game. I won't be dead. You know, no one's gonna invade me." That kind of thing. And absolutely, 100%, there should be options for pausing those games.
Yes, and I even agree with her. This is an accessibility feature. She's
yes,
right.
yes, it is.
It is an accessibility. I agree with her on every point, but the part where she uses that phrase, situational disability, to describe parenting. That is where I will fight over this. I will give you your chance.
I mean, you can use situational or temporal. Like, either way, it's a temporary handicap for gamers. In that they are
18 years.
they are not able to play the game at 100% of their potential because there is something stopping them. Whether that be something that's going to need their attention, or, you know, they have to put the controller down, or in some cases...
The baby's crying or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Or maybe you're just getting a package, or dinner's getting delivered, or whatever. You know, what have you. There are reasons to want pause, yes.
Yeah. So I would definitely agree with what Alana has said. I mean, if we can find the YouTube video link and post it both in our chats, maybe the communities can watch and make their own opinions, because I also advocate for that as well. Like, don't just listen to what we're saying. Go and research these things yourselves. Form your own opinions. Like, we're not here to tell you what to think. Like,
I will send you the link that I copied, because I copied lots of links for this one. This is where she talks about it and defines it, and I'll pop that in my chat too. So the reason why I don't like her use of the expression is because what is the point of the conversation she's trying to have? She wants to convince people to add pause features into these games. Did she accomplish that? Hilariously, no. Everybody got pulled off on a tangent about a term.
well, yeah, because people are gonna cry. That's the society we're living right now.
Well, there's some of that. There's some of that. But for
you see something and you cry. Like,
effective communication. If you want to effectively communicate, there is a degree of 4D chess you have to play to go, okay, this is what I want. This is how I'm going to explain it. How can I reverse that and figure out what people are going to say in response to that and clean up my message? I think I agree with her that what she said is a valid term within the development the game dev community. It's a valid term in just the broader development community. I don't have an issue with the term. I have an issue with the fact she's using it she's using an internal term in an external context where it will interfere with her messaging.
See, now that I can understand.
That's why, because I want her to succeed in this.
Yeah, you don't necessarily disagree with the term. It's where it's been used. Like, if it was internal only, then that would be great. But because it was, welcome back, Evie. If the term was only used internally, that would be appropriate. But because it's tech
using jargon
companies.
in an external context where they're not going to understand it, and it's going to interfere with what you're trying to do. What you're trying to do is bring people on side and convince people to support you in what you're trying to do. It's politics, really.
Yeah, it's like politics. Stock market people talking about SaaS in like an external context, and we'd be like, well, SaaS is like, you know, being sassy, SaaS kind of thing. Whereas they'd be like, no, that's like statistical analysis, blah blah blah. Like, we'd be like, well, no, it's. But yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
Stop being so sassy, Mr. Stock Person. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So instead of actually accomplishing her goal of convincing people to support her idea to put this feature in the games, which I like the feature,
it just made her a target.
She just got clowned on. She just got memed on.
Which is annoying.
And there's a degree where you are a smart person. You should be able to look at this and go, okay, but is a regular, ordinary human being going to understand the situational disability and parenting me saying that parenting is a situational disability is not referring to the same thing as other disabilities like mental health disabilities,
Like
or
a
physical
medical
disabilities.
disability. Yeah.
Yeah, which is also on the list. They are in like different sections. It's like a 3x3 grid, and some of them like having a broken arm or having cognitive issues, or being epileptic, are things on that list that were talked about. They're just not that particular quadrant that she's trying to pull an example from.
Yeah.
So using those internal terms in an external setting is exactly what I had an issue with. And that is exactly what I'm like, you are a smart person. I believe you're a smart person, but that doesn't mean that sometimes you don't say and do a dum-dum. And she did in this instance, and she got clowned on for it. And like, in terms of communicating, in terms of talking to people, I think excluding the term helps. If you want to say, like, if somebody asks you, like, well, is there kind of any internal term for this? Like, admit, like, yeah, the internal term from the Microsoft sheet and show the page is situational disability, and the example is new parents. I didn't use that term because I thought it would be distracting for my point.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to give a presentation internally to other people on the dev team versus giving it to management and the executives versus giving it to
The
a press
public.
conference with the regular population.
Yeah.
And she used the wrong words in the wrong context.
Okay.
And well, she used the right words in the wrong context. That's the issue.
Yeah.
And don't do that. That the idea of not only checking to make sure are you saying the right thing, but are you saying the right thing the right way is a fantastic skill to learn and get better at, because it'll save your ass time and time again. If you can look at it and go, okay, so here's what I want to say. How could I misinterpret this violently to get people yelling at me on the internet for the next 3 weeks? Let me run this through the old brain filter and see if I can find where my problems are. And
yeah, I get that.
It's all too easy to just quick tweet and just quick fire tweets out there, and yeah, I think she goofed a little bit. She zigged when she should have zagged.
Yeah,
I agree with her moving in that direction, but yes.
But
What do you think of that topic title of how to communicate and say things without getting flamed on the internet? That's a memorable title.
Yeah, I mean, I would say there is never ever going to be a case where everyone's 100% happy with what you're going to say. There's always going to be like one person who's going to be like, blah, 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 blah. But like, it's whether you take that to heart or not.
Yeah.
There's always going to be people who are upset no matter what you say or do. And it's about growing individually, and whether, if you know that person, listen, of course. I mean, we should listen anyway, but like, if it's just someone who has malice in their message, then that's obviously a message you should not be taking to heart at all. So.
Amen to that. Hard to do that though. We have a tendency to remember and obsess over the negative, which is
that's why it's a growth thing.
Human.
Yeah, that's why I said it's all about growth individually, because we have to learn to, in a way, separate that from everything else, and go, okay, that person's just angry today. It's not like it's personal for them, but for me, I'm just gonna ignore it, and that is difficult.
That's very useful.
It's difficult, but very useful, like you said. Yeah.
But I am a little bit concerned with people over specializing that skill, because then you just have full-blown narcissists who don't listen to anybody and they're always right. And being able to empathize with another person's perspective and see, okay, how could somebody see this the wrong way, and how do I prevent those misunderstandings is useful. Because I've been on Twitter for 15 years, I think, something crazy like that. And I remember 10 years ago seeing people say and tweet things and just taking one look at that and go, oh, that tweet's gonna bring out all the fuckboys. And sure enough, an hour or 2 or 3 later, there's another tweet going, oh my god, you people are so impossible. I'm like, no, they're not. You said a dumb thing and you offended people. and they came after you. And that's not even like, that's not the current Twitter, that's not Elon Musk, that's just human nature. People, you're right that there will always be people who are like, man, I like pancakes. What do you mean you fucking hate waffles? Like, there's going to be those people.
Not even that.
And
People who are like, why do you like pancakes? They're horrible. Like, not even the opposite end kind of thing. It's like, they're like, oh, I like pancakes. Well, why? Pancakes are horrible, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I know what you meant. Yeah.
But it's definitely not like just a new thing. It has been around for a while now.
Yeah.
So that's where it's a good skill to cultivate for yourself. Not even, I mean, it's fantastic for content creation because you can stop yourself from blowing up for all the wrong reasons. But also just like in life in general, it's a very good skill to learn because then it's also, it encourages empathy. It encourages looking at things from multiple perspectives, which the world could always use more of, I think.
Yeah. More empathy. More empathy, everyone.
Yeah, and even if it is just, I'm going to empathize with you because in the end, that means I won't get my ass kicked in online on Twitter for afterwards.
Well, I'm not sure I can agree with that. I think if we only learn how to better say things by putting things out there as they are.
I'm finding a self-motivating reason to do it too. So there's some validity to that.
Yeah.
But that was my fourth and final topic. What do you think of that one?
Well, that was a good thing to close on.
You were closing our chatting stream with a topic about communication. Yes, it's all cyclical.
Well, I don't have any other topics. I'm sorry. I don't. That's it.
That's fine. Any other quick-fire things? I mean, there's been a bunch of controversies over the last, 3 months, I think it's been since we last did that. I mentioned a VTuber selling merch with a design they didn't have earlier, and I haven't heard much from that person since, probably because I blocked them.
Oh.
I wasn't really enjoying their content much anyway, so it's not that big of a loss for me. Yeah, fun thing to do with the internet. If you don't like something, stop watching it.
Yeah.
It saves you so much time and energy. Spend your energy on the things you love.
Exactly, and
that goes back to my third topic about what do you do when a hobby turns bad? Spend your energy on something that brings you more joy.
Exactly. Yeah. I 100% agree with that. Yeah. Any other quick fire things from me? I don't think so. No. Sorry. I don't have anything else.
That's fair enough. But yeah, it's been a while since I've been able to pop around to your streams. I have changed my schedule, which is a new thing for me. I'm doing more weeknight streams rather than weekends because I realized I need days off, and I desperately need days off, and I've been working 7-day weeks for 8 months, 9 months, and I needed to stop. So I'm in the evenings now.
So when can people catch you next then?
I'm probably going to be next streaming tomorrow night on Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern U.S. time, Eastern Daylight Time.
For the Kingdom people, that's 11 p.m. for us. So
yes. And then I think I'm doing Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. I am currently finishing up Tavern Talk, a fantasy visual novel that I've been playing a lot of.
That will be coming to the channel as well here because of you, actually.
Yeah, I'm an influencer. Nice. About time it happened. But no, it is a very good visual novel. You're going to enjoy it. LGBTQ plus friendly. It lets you pick your pronouns when you first start a game. It's great.
Good. I like that.
Also, cute mascot character. I think you're going to love them. But I'm also playing Wargroove, which is a fantasy-style tactics game. People have been comparing it to Advance Wars. Which it basically is very similar to. I'm playing through just the regular campaign of that. That
game I'm going to be playing off stream because of you.
Well, I'm playing it because they have a sequel out, and I'm like, I wonder if I should buy the sequel. I probably ought to play the first one.
I'll get that story.
Yeah, I don't know how much more of it I'm going to play on stream because it's kind of a quiet one, but people also kind of just having a chill night. Hanging out without big fancy things. And then I have like my Tuesdays are usually just kind of some kind of variety night. I sometimes do game reviews until Steam tells me I've done too many and they're locking me out for a while. That happened.
That happens?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think it was a mix of I did 25 in a night, and also in some instances I would try to submit the review. I would get an error and just tap the submit button again. And I think Steam saw me as like being a little sussy for doing that because I probably, I know I submitted 25. I probably pressed that button more like 40 or 50 times in 2 hours, and that probably looks a little suspicious to them. Probably.
That's a lot of reviews, yeah.
I got a thing back from Steam about one of them. This is actually kind of funny. Let me look this up in my emails. Where was it?
So Steam emailed you back about a review, or?
Congratulations, you've received a community award. Awards are given by members of the Steam community to express their appreciation for something you posted. Your awards are now displayed alongside your items online. Here's your award and all the cool stuff you get for your review of Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. I gave it a negative review and bitched about it.
Wait, what did you say exactly?
Without spoilers, because I will avoid that, I criticized the map design and described it as it felt like the whole zone map was a dungeon, a legacy dungeon, which is the term used in game, that had its own side paths and stuff that felt like it led to other legacy dungeons. And I didn't like that because it felt very maze-like and very easy to miss things.
Yeah.
And some of the paths were like, there's one path to get here. Like, there's a plateau that you can only get to because you're walking down a road, you talk to some NPCs, the main quest is further down the road, but you have to turn back around and look at a cliff behind you, and there's a small rock path up this. And if you don't find that path, you don't get up to that plateau or get any of the items on it.
Wow.
So I didn't really like the design's standpoint. I didn't like the scaling that they did for it. Because you basically found items that gave you buffs for your scaling, and it kind of forced you to explore this large map that was a pain in the ass, but also you then also couldn't outlevel the content. It was an RPG that no longer acted like an RPG, and I did not like that. I understand why, like, when it first happens, you need to like deal with that, because those people will come in at level 500 and just clown all over the place. But I had a problem with that, and then I had big problems with the final boss. I had big problems with the final boss. Did not like him at all. Can't go into spoiler-free details about that, but that's a big ass chunky paragraph of me just bitching about him. But it's funny that that's what Steam is like. We think you did great work with this. I'm like, did you read my review? Did you?
I think how community awards work is that other people can give them to you. So
probably, but it's
what
still,
was the award you got then?
It said treasure is what it said.
Oh, okay.
So it's just like a little like icon or emote or something.
It's cute, yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually curious if anybody like found my review helpful. 6 people did. 6 people found my review helpful.
Good. So you might do some more reviews and things, or
yeah, this is like the 3rd or 4th time I've done review streams. I try to do them like maybe once a month. I will eventually run out of things to review, but that's for true. Now, definitely like I'm catching up with some things. But yeah, 6 people found it helpful, 2 people found it funny, because I was raging.
Okay.
But yeah, so usually my Tuesdays are kind of up in the air. I had a couple of ideas before I caught COVID, so that's gonna fuck with some of my plans.
Yes.
But up and coming, I have met yet another Persona 5 fan. I know you are a fan and playing currently, and well, in addition to you, I met another one. So I will probably start playing Persona 5 in the near future. I don't think I'll jump to it right away, because I don't know when Bloomtown's coming out. It might come out. I might start Persona 5 and Bloomtown could come out the very next week, and I'll be like,
yeah, you'd be like, no.
So there's a question, but I will say Persona 5 is going to be coming in the nearish future for me. And there's a question of how much time I want to invest in that, or if I want to do more variety streams, or if I just want to go hard into Persona 5 for 2 or 3 streams a week for that. We will see.
Yes. Speaking of that, I've had to make the decision of making it fortnightly because it's got so much content that I was worrying about how many streams I was going to have to do a week on it, and I was like, well, I'm already doing Hades as well, and they're both really long games. I can't do this, so I just make them fortnightly each. I'll discuss that more tomorrow at Call Weekly, everyone. But, yeah.
So you're playing Persona, you're playing Hades. What else are you doing? I know you have some like collabs and stuff that you've been doing with folks. There'll probably be some more of those.
Yes, there will be some more of those. So for this coming week, there's Power Wash Sim. I'm collabing on that game. Just really chill vibes.
Do that for somebody sometime. That's such a fun game.
And then I think either... Well, let me actually double check because I should know by now, actually.
To the calendar.
There'll be Valheim as well on Saturday, which is with a group of friends as well. So that'll be good.
Nice. And then obviously you have your chatting streams and your Court Weekly and stuff like that you do as well. It's hard to find all the time to do the things that we want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I made them fortnightly because I wanted to introduce more variety into my content. I'm going to talk about this again tomorrow, but very briefly, I was getting stale with my own content, and I did not like that. So that is the basic gist of it. I'll explain it more tomorrow.
Okay.
But yeah, that's why I made some changes.
Changes are good. I felt like I was getting really stale working every weekend and working every single day. That's why I made changes and started streaming on the night.
You also got to be careful of burnout and things like that. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I think 2.25 hours is plenty time for our 4th Dan and Dan stream. I think we did a good time.
I had
a round
good
of applause here to my lovely co-host here.
If my stream deck was working, I'd use the soundboard to make everyone clap, but it's not working. I don't know why my stream deck's gone down. Sadness. I'll figure it out later. Yeah. But here, I'll clap for us instead. Yay! Woo! Good job! Good job, Dan and Dan. You did it. Thank you.
But raiding out. I had mentioned somebody to you earlier that I was hoping we could raid out to. I have no idea if they're still streaming. Are they still streaming? I think they very much are.
Give me 2 seconds to get to the page I need to. With the stream deck down, I have to navigate differently, which is annoying.
I do see them online still.
So what kind of raid message? Do we want the double Dan raid? Is that what we're going for raid message wise?
How about like double Dan birthday raid?
Okay. Let me type that out. With our own individual raid messages, of course.
Yes.
Emotes, I'm going to say. Right. That is what we're going for, everybody. If this wants to work. I'm going to close this. Oh! I'm going to grab this level up actually on Spirit City Lo-Fi sessions, because why not? Thank you for the level up, but I am now going to exit your game. Okay. Raid out to...
Let me know when to hit the button. So needless to say, everybody treat this person very, very nice, because they are good friend and lovely person, and give them lots of birthday wishes.
Yes.
But I posted my raid message in my chat too. But
Oh god, I haven't used. Give me a second.
I haven't rated in a while, and it's got that new menu that you're trying to figure out.
It's
Eh?
horrible. I've got to click a filter for following and like. Oh my
I
gosh.
do like it a little bit more than the old one because the old one's always like, "Oh, who's your most popular follower? Iron Mouse. You want to rate Iron Mouse?" And I'm like, for the billionth time, no. I don't want to rate Iron Mouse. I don't have a big enough spine to do that.
Give me a second. Okay, I have found the individual. Does this just... Oh, it lets me raid preview. Okay. Alright, that's good then. I am just...
Yeah.
Oh god. Oh no, it brings their thing up. It shows you if they subscribe to you? What? I hate that. I hate that. I feel like that's intrusive. I don't want to know if someone's subscribed to me or not.
Anyway, I tap the button on my end to get the raid started.
Okay. Yeah.
But thank you all for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, night, wherever it is in your part of the world. Take care, everybody, and we will see you again later.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.